You weren't here.
I wasn't.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here also. This is Karen.
Thanks, Karen.
Eugene on the line as well.
Hello, Eugene.
How's everyone tonight?
Good.
Good.
All right, we are live.
We are live.
We are live.
Stand for pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag.
My nation,
indivisible, liberty, and justice
for all.
Any public participation? You here for something?
That's Mr. Stanzio representing, this,
Don Stanzio?
village.
Approval of the meeting minutes dated November 10th, 2020. Make a motion to approve. Motion from my Ed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
4A, Superintendent's Report.
Our average daily flow is 2.2 million gallons per day. The peak flow is 2.8 million gallons per day. We were in compliance with all our permit limits. Next is average for the month. We left out 7 dry all 4 SDRs have been online. Here's another incident, 3 months. Any lost time for accidents. This makes 24 months now. Our safety, action safety. We had no noise complaints, 99.
Please use your microphone.
Okay, we had, no state issued odor complaints at the treatment plant, this makes 29. Our pollution removal at the pump stations was 100 pounds at Upper Route 8, 120, 80 at River Run, 80 at Lattice Place, 80 at Meadowlark, for a total of 460 pounds removed from the pump station, 20 pounds better than last year's total. Our preventive maintenance is on schedule, as normally is. Our pressure maintenance, we installed one of our main pumps that has been out for repair. Factory service all 7 blowers. Repaired upgraded double sensing equipment. All SDRs are currently online, so we're scheduled to be on top of all checks that we get as needed. Our time schedule is as issues. Doing well with our nitrogen removal. 38 pounds per day. Our limit is 106 pounds per day, so it'll be a little higher this month with the flow increase.
So that's the refund of 90,000?
That's an estimate, depending on the file number, but it's pretty close to that. That's last year's figure, I don't have this year's yet.
Oh, you didn't even estimate this year's?
No, the money number is from last year, we won't get that.
Oh,
We just did the survey for this year, this week, we won't get that money. But it's been pretty much the same for the last 9 years.
Any questions for Ed or Garrett on this report? You're basing it on, the total on this chart here then?
The money-wise, yeah.
Money-wise,
On
yeah.
last year's, number. We don't have this year's number yet.
Pretty good. I like, that's a new chart, I like that. Did you do that, Garrett?
Yes.
Nice job. Perfect representation. Any other questions for Garrett or Ed? Hearing none.
Find the infiltration to the, with the rain we had, with the, meters you got out, did you find it?
Matt said he's gonna pull the thing, I think tomorrow maybe?
No, this coming Tuesday.
Right,
Yeah.
next week.
Low meters we put in, then we'll know better then.
My favorite question.
I know.
Any other questions for Garrett or Ed? Hearing them move out on the budget worksheet. Bill was kind enough to ask, to send me an email, John, you were also about trying to take over, helping with his budget worksheet. Let's just hold off till the new year.
Okay.
And then at some point, we're gonna get together. We have it on an Excel as far as the, our budget and how it works. So, I mean, actually, if you wanted to go see Ed or Lori, I think Lori keeps it, right? Doesn't Lori keep it?
Yeah, we have it in-house.
So if you wanna get started in-house with them,
But it's also right, given in the, right here. I mean, he's got it right here, right before you.
yeah, but remember, Steve always used to be, get involved in this and make sure that we had everything updated in having everything on here, making sure it's correct. I don't wanna say a lot of time, but there were times that Steve would find out there was,
They lag behind.
They lag
Yeah,
behind.
There's a
That-
month and a half or two, yeah.
yeah, and it's not necessarily a problem,
Yeah.
but, you know, when you get these, we historically have run within budget anyway.
Right.
You know, I don't believe we've ever gone over budget. We've taken money out, we've moved money around in divisions,
Right.
but that's all we've ever really done. So, I mean, you know, it's, this sheet here is pretty is consistent and when you get to the end of the year with what our final budget is anyway. So, if you wanna, Bill, kinda get started to understand it, and get the Excel spreadsheet from, Garrett, Lori did that, right?
Yeah, Lori.
Yeah, we had to put them,
section 7 in the handbook. We started it and Lori kinda took it from him.
okay.
Section 7,
Section 7?
number 7.
What do you mean, the financial statement?
A summary page.
No,
You want
no.
the whole thing?
no, it was more than this.
Yeah, okay.
It was not this. It was an Excel spreadsheet that, speaking of which, so at some point, February, March, we need to have our meeting to have our new budget. So Garrett and Ed usually start putting the budget together, and then we finalize it at a meeting. Now, sometimes we haven't had meetings because it hasn't really changed, we've never really met. We just discuss it here at the Wpca, and we approved it, and then it goes into effect. But there were years we've gone and we kind of updated some of the, because like last year we didn't have a meeting. It was pretty straightforward, it didn't change, and we, accepted it at the next meeting. Everybody said, yeah, we don't need to have a special meeting. We always would have a special meeting. So that might be the case this year, it might not, so. But it's a good time at some point, Bill, if you're gonna, or John, I don't remember, you guys wanna help take it over, that'd be awesome if you guys can get started.
Yeah, so we could work together to
Yeah.
double check each other.
Yeah. It's gonna give you a good idea of what's needed. And don't be afraid to go to, and talk to these guys, because they start it, And it's got it's got quite a bit of detail to it, Some of these things are a little bit easier, so every 2 or 3 years, I've questioned certain things, and I've called, Ed or Garrett, or we had questions at our special meeting about, well, why is this money here, type of thing, so. Is there any questions? I looked at the budget worksheet. I don't have any questions. Anybody have any questions on the budget worksheet? Hearing none, let's move on. The 2021 meeting schedule.
Yeah, we're concerned that, due to COVID, we've raised on this last, meeting that, we're gonna keep it at 4:30 on Wednesdays until otherwise noted, and it's just wanted to be voted on and in the minutes.
I actually, even if we ever go back upstairs, I don't mind 4:30.
Okay, it's, you know, as long as,
It's 7 o'clock, but I don't know,
no, I agree, 4:30 is nice.
it's up to everybody else. I mean, 7 o'clock's all right too, don't get me wrong, but.
It's middle of winter.
So, somebody wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion for
Motion from Bill,
Second.
second from Don Ramia. Any other discussion?
Can you specify the time we're gonna meet on that?
It's on the list, it's on the paper. We're voting for the paper. 4:30, the second Wednesday of the month. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Boy, it's gonna be a fast one. We're gonna be out of here in
Quick question, was that Bill Miko or Bill Gannon?
Nico. Dan, you're gonna get out of here quick, Dan.
That works for me.
All right. Matt, I want to start real quickly with just something on, we're gonna go to 5B, Fust and O'Neill status report.
Sure.
The first one, Matt, I want to talk about is you and I and Virgil at the beginning of the year, probably right at the beginning of actually it was March 12th, we had started the sewer infrastructure needs matrix. Has this been updated, or is it, in your mind, Matt, is this matrix, do you remember the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I thought we presented at last month's meeting.
Did we?
Yeah, it's pretty up to date.
The one that started dated March 12th.
Yeah, I'm at my computer, I'll pull it up and,
This is not in your package. This is one I've had sitting on my desk waiting to, so there's no updates to this then? I don't remember.
we did, we actually did, yeah, we talked about it last month's meeting, November 10th. I have it right here.
Okay. All right, so for purposes of just going over this quickly, before you can step in and talk about your stuff, what do we have that we're gonna be starting on? And Matt, that you see, I see a couple criticals, starting at the top. Nobody has this, by the way. This is, I have this on my own, so it's not in your package.
It's in the November 10th.
Yeah, okay, is it in there? Okay, perfect. So it's in last month's meeting. So if you want to pull it out, but at any rate, Matt, just quickly going down there, we have 1, 2, 3, we have 3 critical items and they're at the top of the, list. Investigative inflow anomaly at treatment plant. Replace signal wiring. PVC jacketing and connect the scum pit equipment to SCADA. And then the last one was the SBR sludge blanket sensors. So where are we on any of these?
So those items we need to kind of develop, the scope and the budget for I would say like February, March timeframe. Especially, trying to do a little more with the inflow investigation. And then we also need to start budgeting for Ernie to be able to go out there and do the secured in place pipelining.
Okay.
So yeah, those are basically we've been kind of going slow until the budget's been built up and we can start tackling some of these things. That's what's happened over the last year and a half or so.
Okay.
But moving forward, I would definitely really start to get into the collection system more. And you guys have a heck of an II problem. You've just been really lucky. It's been dry. And it's getting a lot worse with all these developments and sewer connections that are coming online or proposed over the next 12 months.
Okay. Ed or Garrett, you want to comment on these three? Is anything you want to, what's, there's three criticals at the top. Which one do you guys see as the critical one?
Blanket sensors would be good.
The blanket sensors? Okay.
Up to the SCADA system. The blanket sensors would be good if they could be hooked up to the SCADA system
Okay.
and the wiring, of course.
Okay. Garrett, same thing?
Yeah, the signal wire is gonna be a big issue, potentially. We've been kicking that can down the road, but, if it runs all the SBRs, if you can't, we have a couple wires that are faulty now, but luckily there's nothing that really runs the valve. But the pipe got full of water, and it's just a big mess, and it's gonna have to be addressed.
Now, were these signal wires replaced during the upgrade?
No, they tried to, and they wanted to ram more wires through there, and I wouldn't let them because it's already damaged, and I didn't want to break any more wires. So that we ended up running them above ground to the,
In conduit?
sump pump, in conduit, because the conduit's already pretty full, and I already have damaged wires in there, and I'm not gonna jam a snake in there and start pulling more wires through, because it's just like 100 wires. You can't just say, well, that wire's broke. You'll never figure it out. It's just a big mess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dealing with that.
That was basically that was Pandora's box right there, and we had to make a change out in the field to just do a separate conduit for the new sensor wires that we had, because as soon as we touched some of that old signal sensor wiring, we'd have to replace the whole thing. And you guys didn't have the money.
Okay.
It sounds like that really should be the priority over the next 12 months or so, and then while we're building up the funding for the II repair work, which seems like we can start in earnest, but that's always a longer lead.
Which one's you're talking about the investigative inflow? The II?
Yeah, I really classify it all together. That inflow surge is basically finding some a bunch of people to go out there when we get that really high 2.5-inch rainstorm, which we really haven't had over this since we started looking for this silly thing. So maybe this spring we'll be able to find it.
So how do we put together an order of magnitude cost on it? We're going to have to do obviously some investigative anomaly and figure out what we think we're going to be spending on it. How can we put together some numbers on that?
Well, actually going out there to find the inflow anomaly, it's just having basically 2 or 3 people, well, I'd say 2 teams of people, each, a pair going in one direction, a pair going the other direction, and just trying to track down where that inflow is while we're getting some ridiculous rainstorm. So that's not the hard part. The order of magnitude cost is how do you fix it? But you can't price out the fix until you know what the problem is.
Right. Yeah. So can you have at next month's meeting? Can you have an idea of what we can do to get started on this one? Because
yeah, I'll put together some bullets. I'm not going to be able to make next month's meeting, but I'll get some bullets together for you for it.
I mean, have 12 MGD of peak flow is a lot.
Or more.
And it's not the first time we've had it. So this is one of the things we definitely, Matt, need to start thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you it's over the signal wiring, but you guys know better than with the See what we can do to at least get. There's 3 items on here that are critical. We see what we can do to at least get 1 or 2 of them done.
I agree.
All right, so Matt, why don't you go into your status report?
So going into my status report, the majority of the items are really covered elsewhere on the agenda. If you'd rather just wait for it then and just ask my opinion.
Okay, let's talk about the critical one. What we got it on here. All right, so let's move on then.
Okay.
Cedar Village.
All right, let me pull that up here. I got a copy of it.
There's your copy.
Basically, on that Cedar Village, I did an administrative review of the application. There's not a lot to look at. It's just a straightforward, they're gonna redevelop a parcel and then connect to a lateral out in the street. On the address, they said the street address of the connection was 275 Corin Road. But even if they connected to Hill Street, both of those lines are in good shape for a service connection. But we didn't have to go through a detailed engineering analysis of this. It was more just making sure the application looked complete, and we included the proposed flow in the allocation table. But that was about it.
Okay, so of course, the critical question for me is, Don signed this application here on November 19th, right?
Yeah.
Now, here we are at December, whatever we are, 9th. The EDU cost is not correct. Okay, so we need to sit down, you, me, Ernie, whoever, and get the correct number to Don.
Okay, we can look at that. At the last meeting, I clarified that point with you, that would the cost per EDU for the benefit connection charge, should it be $2,100 or $2,600?
26. It was he came in he came in after the vote of the upcharge.
Right. So if you look at page 2 of maybe, I don't know, Ernie probably didn't send this to you. Page 2 of my comments for the application, I write in the bottom the revised calculation for the benefit connection charge.
No, I don't have it.
None of us have it.
None of us have it.
Looking at everything is fine today, you can't see
That
anything.
would be my fault. That would be my fault then. And
Yeah.
Somebody's fault.
Right here. It's right here.
What?
Are you talking about are you talking about, no, so you don't have that.
Oh,
Sorry,
that's
that's short.
It's all right, it's no big deal, no big deal.
I didn't.
no,
All right, so
I just got this done. It's not Ernie's fault.
no, it's okay. It's okay. There's always going to be a glitch in the middle here, Matt, so don't sweat it, buddy.
Well, can I just explain what I did?
Yeah.
So basically, we said it was $2,600 in EDU because the application, although it came in at the same meeting, the motion had already passed to increase the benefit connection charge before the application was accepted.
That's correct.
The next
Because this application, hey, Matt, hold on a second. Because this application is not officially accepted, so it's beyond the meeting. So that, I want to clarify that. Just because he was here at the same meeting and we voted on it, and then he came in to the podium afterwards, it doesn't mean that he was just under the wire. He's not. This is his application for approval today. So understand.
You're right. It was received but not approved.
It was received, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay,
I don't
so then
I don't think Don's going to argue it. Okay, go ahead, Matt.
So the next step of that was using the form that the WPCA has in place as of this moment, which is WP 0404 Revision A from June of 2007. That's actually important to say.
Yep.
That basically goes through and explains what the EDU charge is for the benefit connection charge if you have, like, say, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or 3 bedroom units. So, and that number was, those calculations are based on $2,100 in EDU. So what we did is we just adjusted that from 2,100 EDU to 2,600 per EDU, based on the established ratios that were already developed on that form.
Where was it adjusted?
So basically what we did is there's a 1 bedroom unit on that existing,
I think I messed up.
It's not necessary. How are we supposed to read?
I
How do you
understand,
say it's not
Don,
necessary?
I don't know what happened.
Well, neither do I. That's why,
I don't
why
know
are we
what
here? Why are we here?
Vote it down.
It's not a question of voting,
voting
Mike.
it
It's
down.
not a question of voting. It's a question of being
Don,
informed.
relax,
I'm a
relax.
commissioner, and I want to know what's going on.
Okay,
And I
okay.
don't want it verbally. I want it in writing.
Okay, relax. Then if that's what you
You know, I mean, everything we've done here today, we've done blind. What am I, an idiot?
Did I say that? Did anybody
No,
say
you
that?
inferred it.
No, I did not, okay?
I'm not going to act on any of this until I see it in writing. This is ridiculous. We have a meeting. I can't read nothing. I can't know nothing. Ridiculous.
Matt, when did you send this in?
Morning, was it?
I think it was it Monday or Tuesday?
All right. The
I would say
packages
next
were,
week Monday. Like I said, it was my fault, Don. All I'm trying to point out is that we're using the current EDU rates for this application. It's an administrative review, and we took that 2,600, we adjusted it for the one-bedroom units, and there's 30 of them. And then that
Okay,
was the
I tell you what, Matt, stop. We're gonna make this easy. We're gonna table this discussion till next month. I don't wanna put Don off, but we don't have the proper information, and until we get the proper information in our hands, then we can't act on it, all right?
Fair enough.
Simple as that. Move on, next. Move on, next. (6A), application, Vista Apartments, Phase 2.
That would be Jim.
I'm Attorney Stephen Mellon, and I represent Vista Apartments. We submitted an application to the Wpca for Phase 2 of an apartment building at 1039 Howe Avenue. Phase 1 was already built and completed and consists of 14 units. The proposed apartments have wetlands approval. We have an application for a special exception that was...
Okay, Steve, can I hold on a second? I gotta ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where's the application?
I handed it to the Wpca maybe 2-3
don't tell me you don't have that one in your file either.
I don't.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I've got it.
I'm just telling you, I don't have it. Okay?
Here,
We need to, this is getting to the point now where you wanna look like a chucklehead. I'm not gonna sit here and look like a chucklehead anymore. The package has gotta be complete, and I'm not gonna sit here and waste anybody's time if I don't have it and some of these other guys have
you
it.
got it, Tom?
Yes, I do.
All right, Steve, go ahead, sorry.
No, that's all right. I was saying, so there's already an existing apartment building, we're not concerned with that. So there's a proposed apartment building where we have wetlands approval, and we filed an application with the zoning commission for a special exception for 28 units. And in your application, you will see that of the 28 units, 21 of them, about 27 of them are one bedrooms, and only one of them is a two bedroom. So there are 28 total units, 27 one bedrooms, one two bedroom. The way this works is that there's going to be a 6-inch line from the building to the existing pump station that's in the driveway. And that will connect to a 2.5-inch force line that's there now and servicing the other apartment buildings. That we gave you some calculations as to the effluent discharge per bedroom for the total gallons for the one bedroom, and for all the one bedrooms and the two bedrooms is 4,350 total gallons per day. And then we gave you a report from Barnes Pressure that talked about the force main line. So this application is, as I say, submitted by Jim Swift, who's in Florida. If you have any technical questions, I can call him. He thought he might have been zoomed into this meeting, but that's okay. Any non-technical questions, I'll handle.
Matt, did you see this already?
I've glanced over it, yeah. I think my number one question is that you have, it's a phase one and we were in phase two. It looks like they're separate properties, but they're gonna share a private pump station. How is that gonna work if one of the properties changes ownership but not the other?
Not in separate properties. Vista Apartments owns both pieces.
All right.
And it's not separate. Same owner.
I guess my concern is that, I guess you can see my concern. I'm just worried someday if, like, say they sell one half and not the other, it's gonna create an issue. But, that was my concern.
It's, so Vista Apartments LLC is the owner. The chair, Jimmy Blakeman, is the member of Vista Apartments LLC. So it is owned by one company. It was built in two phases.
But it's all one parcel of land.
Yes, sir.
Where's this apartment? Which one are you? He just gave me this one. Why did he just give me Waterview? Where's Vista Apartments on it? Where's the?
Vista Apartments is at 1039.
Hold on, Steve. I'm looking for the application to connect. I don't have the where did he go?
I personally dropped off the application.
I'm sure you did.
And,
because I don't have anything in here for Vista Apartments.
I do.
I made enough copies for everybody, and,
I got Cedar Village, and I got Waterview. And I don't know why why did you hand me Waterview, and Waterview's not on the agenda? You handed us Waterview. So do you have extra copies, Steve, for everybody?
Oh, sorry.
or do you have the copy that I came up with? I have my file copy.
You can take mine, Mike.
Vista.
Mike,
I did make copies for everyone, Chairman. I did.
I'm not doubting you.
Okay.
Why you only see here? I didn't make it for it, back together last week.
What's that?
It's my fault, because I didn't double check it.
So,
Here's Vista. Who needs a Vista?
okay, so Matt,
Yep.
so have you seen this application?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so if I'm looking at, let's let Steve finish. Go ahead, Steve, finish, and then I'm gonna go over some stuff here.
I gave you the summary of what I believe that we're asking for, the whole authority. Permission to, add the 28 units in a lateral into the existing pump station that's already on the driveway, that will then be put into the existing 2.5-inch line.
Where's the tie-in? Am I missing something? So we're looking at this one right here, Steve. I know you don't know too much about it, right?
I understand the concept.
Okay, so where's the tie-in? Are you tying in to the existing
oh, so, yeah.
pump station at the existing apartment?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. So here it is right here. Okay, keep going, Steve. 6-inch Schedule 40.
And then there's an existing 2.5-inch main line, force line, that goes into Route 110. You see that?
Yep, yep,
Okay, that is already installed,
yep.
and that goes
Right here.
down Route 110.
Okay.
It has a backup generator, and
So where's the backup in the existing apartments?
you have the existing apartment, and the new apartments will have their own as well.
Okay. So that's gravity from new into the pump chamber.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Going, Steve.
Yeah. I would, if you're looking at the plan set, it looks like, maybe it's page 2, which shows kind of like the existing conditions and the boundary survey.
Yeah, I see it.
That was the point I'm making, is the boundary survey shows this phase 2 on a separate lot than the Vista Apartments phase 1. It could be the same owner, but right now it looks like they're 2 separate lots. So to beat a dead horse, my concern is that, you know, we just make a condition of approval after we look at this, that, if at some point one lot's sold but not the other, that the parties are gonna have to negotiate that before they sell it, which would be kind of silly, because the seller would own both lots before they sold it. It's just an administrative thing.
Now, they share a driveway, so you couldn't split off the, phase 1 and phase 2.
Maybe we could just have a phone call and figure this out.
It's a single lot though right now.
Yes, it would be a violation of zoning.
Yeah, Matt, I agree with that.
Okay.
It's just a phase project. There's a lot of phase projects anywhere.
So the remnants of the chain link fence between the 2 lots next to the generator pad, those 2 lots get combined as one lot.
Yes, one owner. Right now, there's probably, I think there's an old house there, that's gotta get knocked down, and then they would start, then once we get zoning approval, then start construction.
All right. Okay. That was my concern. So
I understand the question, but I'm trying to represent to you that it should not become an issue.
Okay.
All right, so Matt, you're gonna get a hold of Steve or Jim Swift, and you're gonna take this.
Yep.
And give us a report next month?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it sooner than later this time.
Okay. Any other questions for Steve with Vista Apartments? Thank you, Steve.
So I'll come back next month, is that?
Yeah, you ought to get in contact with Matt for his fee
Okay.
for reviewing. Jim, is this yours or Jim's job?
Jim Blakeman's project?
I'm sorry, Jim Swift.
Jim Swift is the engineer,
Right, but you're here because Jim can't be here.
and I'm the attorney for.
Right, okay, gotcha.
zoning.
Yep, gotcha.
Yes, Jim.
I just thought you were just filling in because Jim wasn't here.
No, I'm an attorney representing Vista Apartments.
Right, okay.
Generally, I send Jim Swift, but he's in Florida. He said that if you needed him for a technical question, I would patch him in.
Right, okay.
So Matt can call either Jim Swift if he has his phone number, or he can call me.
All right.
Is there anything
Will
else?
do.
Are you all set, Matt?
Yes.
All right,
Okay, thank you very much.
see ya. You came back, you have something to say? Bills rendered, 6B, Fuss and O'Neill. There's nothing here. Right, Matt?
No bill this month.
Wow. All right, so the final one, and Matt, so 6C.
There's 2 parts to that.
There's 2 parts to that. There's 6C1 and 6C2.
There's a paper clip on them, I passed them out, just so that Matt is on the same page we are. I sent this to him via an email.
I have it open. Thanks, Pete.
So, Matt, the starting point should be 6C1, so why don't you take it from there, 6C1.
Okay, so, document 6C1, you've seen this a couple times by now. What we did is, under section B, we added, row 6. So it clarifies that although the, benefit connection charge per EDU, the total that we came up with is, $31.73. The charge that was approved for use by the WPCA is $2,600. That's the important. Then the next page shows it updates the tables here for like a single EDU. It has the new rates, and then for the multifamily, we break down this 2,600 based on whether it's 1/3 of an EDU, 2/3 of an EDU, or 1 EDU, and then that's how we come up with the cost per EDU for the benefit connection charge. This is a little different than what you had last time. Before you would say instead of rooming house, you would have 1 bedroom. Instead of efficiency apartment, you would have 2 bedroom. Instead of a single family or multifamily house, you would have 3 bedroom. But that terminology is not in your sewer ordinances. What's in your ordinances is this breakdown.
Right, just so everybody knows, we changed this to reflect the ordinance, because it didn't reflect the ordinance. So this is much clearer now and easier to understand and implicate as far as the value of what we're going to be charging. So that's basically what this came down to. We had a meeting last week, the 3 of us, me, Matt, Ernie, and Pete, and we spent some time going over this. So this is kind of the new, Ernie and Pete worked on their end, and then Matt worked on his. So this is when Matt started, what, a year ago, Matt? 6 months ago, after when we were talking about it originally?
Yeah.
So I like it because, first of all, it's a new look. It gets away from, nobody has to see the old one. I'd rather not see the old one because we're moving into a new era. So let's look into new application. Now, one of the ones, and it's a minor thing. It used to say something like permission to connect to this wastewater treatment plant, sewer connection application. I think, and I don't remember exactly how the wording we used. Let's see if I can, actually, it might be on some of the old documents. Application for approval, and then it said from the WPCA to connect to the City of Shelton's sewage collection system. I don't want to say that wording's not fine, Matt.
Yeah.
But I think we were very specific when we worded this thing. Application for approval from the WPCA to connect to the City of Shelton's sewage collection system. You're not really saying that on the top of this application. I think I'd like to see if you can't go back to the old application and try to make that fit in there if you can, and decrease the font or something like that.
Oh yeah. That actually is going to go on. That's actually that would be the header of 6C2.
The header of.
Next document.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm back and forth. My mistake. Yeah, I'm just saying. Let's make that the header of 6C2.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I thought it was kind of wordy, but it has an important meaning to the commission. I will put that back.
Well, if you want to make it less wordy, then give me an idea what you think is less wordy.
I did.
Permission to collect to the City of Shelton sewage collection system. Permission or approval to connect or some. I know it might be wordy, but we spend a lot of time on that. Yeah,
let's put it back. We'll put it back. It's not a big deal.
Giving people the ability to connect to our wastewater collection system. This, to connect, here this doesn't connect. If you can get the word connect to the city of Shelbyville, I'll be satisfied. The word connect is, to me, is a, you know, like I said, we spent time on that to make sure it was understood right at the beginning. We're giving you permission / approval to connect to our wastewater treatment facility. So if you can get the word connect in there, I'll be happy.
So where it says benefit connection charges or sewer connection application, we can go back to the old language.
On 6C2.
Yeah.
Just get the word connect in there.
Okay, we'll do.
6C1 is perfect.
All right, let me write that down.
One changes, you know, it works. And then 6C, new application, is the new permission to connect, approval to connect, however we're gonna say it. So,
yep.
So today I talked to the chairwoman of P&Z to make sure that, and we're gonna try to meet myself, Ernie, Ginny Harbinger, and Alex, because of all the boards here, there's two important boards, theirs and ours. You know, Wetlands thinks they're important. They are. Of course, they're important to themselves. I'm not going to tell you they're not important, but the two most interconnected boards are us and planning and zoning. So we're going to try to set up some time for a special meeting. First of all, I'm going to call it just a regular. I'm not going to call it a special meeting because the four of us are going to meet, and then I'm going to have to. Then we'll see if you guys want to do a special meeting. But I want to make sure that they understand, and they do. We've spoken to Jenny several times about this over the years, is that to make sure that they know, that we know what projects are coming and which ones need to come to us first. One of the key things that happened in the past was an applicant would come to the Wpca and because they were told to come to us first, and we would go over the project and say, okay, it looks good. Then they go back to P&Z, and P&Z would change the application to a PDD or to a different zone. So they had to come back to us with different documentation, and we had to review it all over again. So that's why way back when we put, is this project a P&Z zone change, yes or no? And then Rick Schultz had to initial it that, yep, it's fine the way it is, it's not going to change, and then they would come to us, so there wasn't this back and forth between boards. But the thing with Jenny that I spoke to Jenny about this week was that I want to make sure that we're sitting down and we're understanding what's coming up, and you know, and I told her that I tried to have several conversations with Alex, and it was, you know, they didn't quite happen, so I reached out to her first. So we're going to try to set up some meetings to go over everything. Now, we were doing it when Rick Schultz was here, and it was working out good, but then Rick left, Tom passed away, so we kind of stopped it. So we need to make sure that we're getting started on again, because there's a lot of work coming up that we're going to need to be considering. So I want to start having these meetings once a month, maybe something like that. You guys are more than welcome to sit in, but the problem is once you have more than X amount of people, it's a quorum, and then we can't do it. Then we got to put it up, post it as a special meeting. So we're going to keep it small at first, and I'll try to keep everybody and let everybody know what's going on.
Hey, Mike, can I kind of make one little point here? When we were working on the treatment plant, you tried to explain that you had the limitation of how much how much water the plant could pump. That's a capacity issue. And then you had another capacity issue of like how much of the nutrients you can remove from the wastewater. So your collection system has two capacities as well. And the one that we've been tracking is the average daily flow, which is how much can it handle over a 24-hour period, like how many people can connect to it.
Mm-hmm.
The second capacity we haven't talked about is that peak flow rate when you say you get that 12 MGD coming into the plant and the plant can't really come up for air because it's just the water's coming in so fast it can barely keep up. Well, what happens if you then go ahead and add Shelter Ridge to that?
Well, that's a whole nother discussion, Matt, and that's a discussion we're going to have with P&Z. And probably 2 or 3 years ago, they came to us and it might have been a little bit it might have been longer than that, down at the old Perry Hill School before it got knocked down, if I'm not mistaken. Ed, you might remember this. We actually sat down, and there was like an informal public hearing about the project. And am I right? I remember at some point, probably 3 or 4 years ago, that's how long they've been talking about this job, is maybe longer, about the project. And there were a lot of things that we went over. And one of the things we spoke about, speaking of which, Matt, was that, and you might have been privy to it, or Virgil, I don't remember, but we were talking about they were going to have to put in a huge holding tank, 100,000-gallon holding tank, and we were going to only allow them to pump at midnight, because we didn't want their wastewater coming to the plant during the day. So, and then we were going to have them put in their own pump station. We're going to have them upgrade lines. So there's a whole. This is going to be a big one, and this is going to be one that's going to take a lot of thought from everybody here, our engineers, P&Z, and to understand how we're going to handle this one. It's going to be.
Well, yeah, no, that's all true. So I use Shelter Ridge as an example because it's pretty sensational. But if you think of all these other applications that come in at like 30 units here, 100 units there, it's kind of slowly eating away at that max capacity that you have. And someday all the little projects are going to kind of add up to become that equivalent of a Shelter Ridge. And then we're going to be looking back like, wow, how did that happen over the last 5 years? So
that's why you're keeping track of the flows in each sewer shed area.
Well, we're keeping track of, we're putting it based on the average day flow, but in terms of that peak capacity rate, that's a whole different animal. We haven't really looked at. So so that's something we're going to have to start thinking about in these discussions. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I need a minute. Getting back to the agenda on 6C, on 6C2 to be specific. Matt, the project information, we're going to need a map and lot number put into that to help us clarify to our tax office. We're having a problem right now with identifying parcels that just give it 100 Main Street, let's say, and 100 Main Street happened to be a 5-acre project, and they put one house on that, but then the owner decides to subdivide it into 20 lots further down the road. So we wouldn't have the ability to differentiate between 100 Main Street and all the other parcels on that get subdivided. So we'd like to have a map and lot number put into that.
That's great feedback. The whole point of this application is to only ask for information that makes our job easier.
Yep.
Like one of the discussions was at the bottom, it says for city use only. There's some redundancy there if we are keeping track of the change in the plant capacity on a separate form.
Yeah, we could do that on a separate form.
So then get rid of that, Matt, like we talked today.
And then that gives more space to add some things for maybe Pete and Ernie that are of interest to them.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, actually, more Lori than Pete and Ernie, because Lori's the one who gets handed this and then begins the process internally to communicate to other departments. So we should, I think Lori's main input was map and lot, right, Ernie? That was her thing, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe we just open up the lines a little bit so if someone's writing it in by hand, it'll be legible.
We'll be able to do that if we get rid of that bottom spot.
Correct. That was our wish.
Does anybody else have any comments on this form? Anything changes, observations? Yeah, I don't think we ever used I don't think anybody ever used that bottom piece, right, Matt? Only you. We never use it internally, just you.
I do it, but it's kind of a pain to fill out when we have the spreadsheet that updates itself and we just attach a copy of it.
All right, so strike that out.
Okay.
What else?
Will that be a separate document or attached to this document, or the same number?
Separate document.
Separate.
Matt's doing that on his own. Nobody, I know you say nobody, we have the right to see it, but nobody, it doesn't affect anybody.
Right, okay.
All right, Matt, that's it? Let's make those changes. Anybody have any other comments before we move on? I like the document.
All right, thanks.
So
We'll get it
just
right.
add, huh?
We'll get those changes made, and then this thing's going to be great to use.
I think so too. Ideally, you put it on the website and somebody can download it and you lock the cells and they can type it in. But who knows if that'll ever happen.
That'll happen. We'll make it happen.
So we're not getting any handwritten forms.
I've actually done that before, using Adobe Writer.
Exactly. You can't, but not everybody has Adobe Writer though, Matt.
No. Once we get this form right, then I just set it up for fillable forms, and when you download it with Adobe Reader, which everybody has because it's free, you just type it in and print it out.
Right. All right. What else? Any other questions? Financial statement. We actually got some money.
Yes.
So something, Ernie, that we should be probably doing, and I'm not even sure how you manage it. Somewhere on this thing, does Lori do this?
Yeah, this is, well, we both.
So a good way is to understand what we're collecting and where this money's coming from. If any of this money you're receiving, this revenue, is from a benefit connection charge, we ought to be putting a number there. And who's tracking that we're receiving all the money?
What do you mean we should be putting a benefit connection charge? You mean instead of revenue, put benefit connection charge?
No. The money we collect from this form.
Okay.
This form number should go on this sheet, on the revenue, this section right here.
Okay.
So let's see if we can work on that, all right? Any other questions on the financial statement? Hearing none, Ed?
Yeah, before you adjourn, could you do a roll call through at the table there, so we know who's at the meeting?
John Pushkar, Bill Miko, Pete Pavone, Don Ramia, Mike DeAngelis, Ed Hellauer, Ernie Bubb, and the two sewer treatment plant, Garrett and Ed. And then online you have,
Well, Attorney Bellis, don't forget Attorney Bellis.
no, he's talking about board members.
Oh.
You have Eugene online. All right? Is that all you need?
Yeah, we're saying Commissioner Chukta and Commissioner Gannon are absent this evening?
Correct.
Very good, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Make the motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Hey, Garrett, stayed awake this time.
Huh?
Stayed awake this meeting.
I wasn't even here the last meeting. Take care, man.
You were here, you were sleeping.
No, I left.
I know.
How's it going, guys?
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you, Dan. Get some sleep, Dan.